Well, I found my first loom in the attic. It'd been there for several years. My mother and my aunt both bought looms when my little sister was born to make booties and other baby clothes. Then it went up to the attic, and for a number of years I used it every once in a while, trying to fashion doll clothes or a doll blanket. There are a lot of those doll blankets around, you know. I've seen them online. I know that other people have them. Probably the pin loom doll blanket made out of tiny little misshapen squares is one of the nicest things that have ever been done on pin looms. The idea that I most come back to is the idea of houses and their house shapes, which have ended up reflected in a number of works that I've done. Many of the early things I did were intended as hangings, and the reason for that was that I wasn't that great a weaver. It used to take me a long time to make each of the little squares, and therefore when I was able to put together the 12 or 20 to make a hanging, I was pretty darn proud of it and happy to stop right there. Another influence that has been terribly important to me is Amish quilting. The Amish have spent hundreds of years putting together beautiful works of art in their blankets, in their quilts, and it was made always of small pieces of fabric. With pin loom weaving, you get the same sense of having small pieces that need to be joined together. And what better influence can we use than these works of art by the Amish? I wouldn't say secrets, but one of the special aspects of using pin loom weaving. If a number of people come together who are knitting or crocheting, they are each, by the nature of the art, going to bring a lot of differences to the product. With pin loom weaving, people can sit down and each using a pin loom can produce something that will fit seamlessly together. When I come to teach at a fiber festival or any kind of workshop, of course what you teach depends on the level of knowledge and understanding in the class and the students. If it's a beginning class, we're going to spend a lot of time just going over the technique of using a pin loom. But I don't want it to be just about having to struggle with a loom. Once that's accomplished, and with a very small loom, people learn very quickly how the little pieces are made. I do also want them to come away with a finished item, so that very often with beginners, they're going to end up making something perhaps not as big as this sheep, but perhaps more of a lamb, where something that they can make with a number of 2x2 squares. For more sophisticated groups, and actually for everyone, one of the essential pieces to learn is good joining techniques. If you're going to work in something that involves 4x4 squares, good joining techniques are essential. The book Pin Loom Weaving actually goes over about 5 different techniques we use, and that's not the end of it. There are many, many more, so that we would build on those good joining techniques to make a number of kind of items depending on the particular workshop, but it can be bags and purses, it can be working towards shawls or blankets or hangings. The list is unending. The next book is especially written for people who are working together. And working together can produce one item really very quickly and having a lot of fun doing it. And I would like to see more and more people get together in what I think of as kind of weaving circles. So that my hope is that weaving circles will soon cover the U.S., will cover the world. Kids, to families, to church groups, to 4-H and Girl Scouts and all the other ways that people get together and enjoy their time together.